about 3 or 4 of them out. Great book.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Right.
And I know you're going to have more to say tomorrow morning on Fox News Sunday.
Yes, I'll be on Chris Wallace tomorrow.
All right. And now to my opening statement. You know, Americans elected the outsider businessman president. Why? To borrow a phrase from the man himself, what do we have to lose? The economy was in the tank. Our kids were living in the basement because they couldn't find a job. Factories were closing down. Jobs in manufacturing were being shipped overseas. And in trade, China was sucking us dry. The Obama folks called it a healthy economy, but there was barely a pulse. 1% annual GDP growth was the new normal for these bozos. And President Obama even warned that Donald Trump's election would result in economic disaster for all Americans.
Because some of those jobs of the past are just not going to come back. And when somebody says, like the person you just mentioned, who I'm not going to advertise for, that he's going to bring all these jobs back. Well, how exactly are you going to do that? What are you going to do? There's no answer to it. He just says, well, I'm going to negotiate a better deal. Well, how exactly are you going to negotiate that? What magic wand do you have? And usually the answer is he doesn't have an answer.
Because I want you to tell your friends, don't let a friend vote Trump. So here's the deal. He can't escape the math. Now, you know, math can be kind of inconvenient if it doesn't add up the way you want it to. And economists, left, right, in the middle, all say the same thing. That Trump's policies would throw us into a recession, the last thing we need. He would undermine the growth that we've had since the Great Recession.
In the event Donald wins, I have no doubt in my mind the market tanks.
His tax plan, in combination with his refusal to reform entitlements and to honestly address spending, would balloon the deficit and the national debt. So even though Donald Trump has offered very few specific economic plans, what little he has said is enough to know that he would be very bad for American workers and for American families.
And then there was Paul Krugman, a Nobel Prize-winning economist, writing for the New York Times. Let me say that again. He's a Nobel Prize-winning economy, and here's what he said. The stock market will plummet and never recover from the election of Donald Trump. So we are very probably looking at a global recession with no end in sight. You know, some are so blinded by their hatred of Donald Trump that they forget decades of training in their own field. And as America surges forward with more jobs than people to fill them, with African American and Hispanic unemployment the lowest in history, with millions coming off of food stamps because they want to work, the left, well, they rant and protest and create chaos. They throw people out of restaurants and off television shows. They even go to church and say that God sent them to destroy Donald Trump. The left doesn't care about our economic success. All they want to do is make noise. But it's nothing more than background noise, white noise. The truth? Nobody's paying attention to them. Donald Trump's numbers continue to increase. His popularity just keeps going up. And after he met with Putin and was accused of everything from collusion to treason, an offense, by the way, punishable by death, his numbers continue to go up. When are they going to realize that their yelling and screaming is nothing but a distraction? Nobody cares. We care about food on the table, paying the rent, the mortgage, paying for kids' clothing for school. But no, they want to talk about whores and porn stars, or about a lawyer who they're squeezing so tight he'll confess to sinking the Titanic. And yet, despite a media focused on a whack-a-mole Trump-Russia collusion nonsense and the haters continuing to hate, the outsider president has thundered forward with his America First agenda. And with a kryptonite-proof aura of invincibility, the 45th outsider president often working without the support of his own party, has produced a GDP that no one thought possible, 4.1%, and we are on track to hit the highest average growth rate in over 13 years. What do you got to say to that, Barack, Hillary, and all you geniuses? We're flying, folks. This is the America Donald Trump had in mind when he asked us, what do you have to lose?